there's this really lovely girl. Her name is Loey Lane, and she did a video. Which again, these kids they're so brave. I admire their
because
their
kids.
tenacity. Yeah, well,
they have
like
no fear.
That.
Well, you know,
but
when
I wasn't
we were young
like that.
But the culture now is a little bit different. Like with YouTube, they all have their own YouTube channel. You know, it's a very different culture for sure.
Yeah, so she got out and she like dressed up like Little Mermaid. She's like, I got a mermaid.
Her swimsuit was
adorable,
so cute. I was like, how do I get
a picture
this?
Of that?
Yeah.
Oh, she's cute.
I mean, I need that bathing suit in my life.
Yeah.
She looks like sexy Little Mermaid.
She is.
Well, and what I loved about what she talked about in this video that she said was that she finally felt like the Little Mermaid, and that was her favorite character because growing up, she felt like the only people that she looked like were the villains, like Ursula. People, said, "Oh, you look like Ursula."
Yeah.
This is kind of so terrible.
Well, it's kind of this is the thing. When you are a curvy plus-size chick, it's really important that your self-esteem not only comes from you, but for the people that are in your circle and in your world. Yep. Because the people in your circle and in your world, if they are not supporting you and telling you how beautiful and lovely you are, then you're not going to think it either. And it just kind of messes with you. So she probably has a family and has some friends that probably support her and are like, yeah, girl, you do that.
Yeah.
You put that bikini on and you be Little Mermaid because that's a beautiful girl.
Absolutely.
Look,
she's just stunning.
But you know what? They all that's a good picture because all of the villains and all of the like fairy godmothers, they all look a little matronly.
Yeah.
Their boobs are down to their waist.
Look how big the Ursula is compared to the Little Mermaid, and the Queen of Hearts is compared to Alice. Like she's literally 3 times her size.
Yeah, it's
4 maybe.
And
maybe
the
4.
Fairy godmothers are like in the same big moo. Like
well, I was going to say that when I was a kid, I loved Meriwether, who was the blue fairy. Yeah, I loved her. I thought she was so funny.
Me too.
And so
that is
sassy.
Hilarious. I have never seen all those pictures together like that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and
some
that's what
studio magic.
That's right. That's right. They do it for reals here, not for fakes. But to think of kids coming up, like, what is the possibility of having a Disney princess that doesn't look like that? Do you know what I mean?
The kids coming up, there will be all kinds of Disney princesses for them. Because when I was growing up, there was no black Disney princess, there was no Indian Disney princess, there was no Latina Disney princess, and now all of those things exist.
That's right, which is great. And so they're definitely making progress.
Yeah.
For sure. But there needs to be some adjustment there, and I think that the new movie that's coming out with Moana,
Moana,
with
The Rock,
which is getting a lot of flack actually about his body type.
Yes,
the male body type is getting some flack, which is kind of nuts
but this is the thing when they do, because I'm a Disney chick, so when they do those Disney characters and they draw the body to be an exaggeration of the person that's voicing the character. The Rock is a big dude. He was a WWE wrestler, right? So they just exaggerated what he looked like. And if somebody that is criticizing it would see that, if they actually looked at the Disney characters and saw that it's always an exaggeration of what the person that's voicing the character looks like, then they wouldn't say anything. I mean, seriously, what would somebody look like criticizing the genie in Aladdin because it was blue and it was voiced by Robin Williams? Like, what you gonna say about that? Robin Williams,
but it's
not
a
blue.
magical character. Okay, so here's the character that's being voiced by The Rock. He's on the
Dwayne
right,
Johnson.
And I mean, people are saying that the character looks like a pig, like literally
or
his
a hippo.
face,
or
a hippo, right?
Yeah.
What I like about the girl, though, is that while she's still slim, she's not a Belle or an Ariel.
No.
She definitely has
she's Hawaiian.
Yeah.
She's the Hawaiian girl.
But aren't they supposed to be demigods? Like, they're supposed to be, like,
demigods are not
right.
Yeah. Demigods are not walking around looking like stick figures, so
yeah. I mean, there are two arguments I thought both were very interesting. One, it was a New Zealand politician that brought it up, Jenny Saliza. When we look at photos of Polynesian men and women from the last 100, 200 years, most of our people were not overweight, and this is a negative stereotype of Maui. and it's just not acceptable. Which is funny that, again, you think that being overweight is terrible.
Right.
Right?
It's so being overweight is negative. Like, that's not a bad...
But I don't think that that character looks overweight. I feel like he looks
muscly.
I feel like he looks solid and strong and like kind of godlike. You know what I mean? Like,
muscly.
He looks amazing. Like, so maybe he doesn't have a tiny waist. Like, he doesn't have the V.
Yeah. But have you seen a Samoan? What Samoan have you ever seen that's looking like this?
Well, no, not like this, but like The Rock is Samoan or Polynesian,
he is.
And he has a big, broad shoulders and a smaller waist.
Like an exaggerated. That's an exaggerated version. Of what
I mean, not
like.
the face because The Rock has
a
face. He has a face, I guess. And that
we
does
can look at
smile.
his face
that
all day.
Smile.
Yeah,
no.
for sure.
That beautiful face.
And so then there was a Polynesian writer that said there's a very clear difference between saying Maui wouldn't have looked like that and Maui shouldn't look like that, which sends the message that big Polynesians are a disgrace to our ancestors. And I think that's the point I kind of thought was like, yeah, like, why are the people of Maui somehow not good enough in your eyes to represent demigods? Like, if that is what they look like now, like, that's
well, and if now that is the case, and you've kind of that's what you've like bred to look like, or like that's what you found attractive, and that's what kind of has evolved to what you look like. Why is that bad? Just like I have blue eyes, my mom liked my dad, they both had blue eyes, I have blue eyes. That happens.
Right.
Like, I just happen to be married to someone who has brown eyes. When we have kids, we probably won't have blue-eyed babies, but they'll have
hazel eyes.
That's like that's the nature of it. So why is it that because that's what's happened in their lineage, maybe they didn't start off hundreds of years ago as these big guys,
right?
But now they are because they've chosen that, in the natural selection of marriage and having children. Why is it bad?
Why is it bad? And why shouldn't what they look like now be represented? Like why? Like, this is a cartoon.
And why are you offended?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
For sure.